Back now to tonight's top story. He's been convicted of countless charges, from theft to assault to fraud. Tonight, Winnipeg police say Shawn Lamb is a serial killer, already accused in the deaths of 3 women. CTV's Caroline Bargood has been digging into the 52-year-old's life. Caroline, what have you been able to find out?
Marilee, Shawn Lamb's criminal record dates back to 1976 when he was just 17 years old. The 52-year-old has spent most of his life in and out of jail, and on Sunday he was arrested once again, this time outside this Point Douglas apartment building. This is where Shawn Lamb lived up until he was evicted 2 months ago. The window of this bachelor apartment looks directly onto the Simcoe Street backyard, where Winnipeg police found a body wrapped in a plastic bag on Thursday. This evidence marker, an indication officers have already thoroughly combed through the suite, looking for anything that would connect Lamb to the 3 missing women he's now charged with killing.
He used to be a troublemaker. 3 times the police came, talked to me. They take him evening, they release him in the morning. They take him evening, they release him in the morning.
The caretaker of the building doesn't want to be identified, but says Lamb often came home with a different woman. The 52-year-old man was known to throw loud parties, was suspected of doing crack cocaine, and often fought with other tenants.
Your name and number, or can you call?
Lamb moved to this Point Douglas apartment in May. His name is on the buzzer. That's presumably his voice on the recorded message. Neighbors say he was a partier.
He was really loud, actually, a couple times. He was so loud I actually could hear him in my apartment.
Mike Kajenga lives across the hall. He says 2 days ago he awoke to find Lamb and a woman in his apartment. They apologized and began to leave. He says on the way out, the 52-year-old suspected serial killer offered him a little piece of advice.
He said, make sure you keep your door locked because there's crazy people out there. And I was like, all right, and he walked out.
Kajenga says the very next day, police were at his neighbor's door with a search warrant. Officers removed 2 large bags from inside the home of the man he once thought was just an average guy. And again, Shawn Lamb was arrested outside this apartment building on Sunday. He remains in custody tonight and is currently facing 3 charges of second-degree murder.
Caroline, is there a possibility of more charges?
There is, Gord. As Stacey mentioned a little bit earlier in the newscast, there are dozens of police officers working on this case, checking with other homicides as well as missing women from the Winnipeg Police Service as well as RCMP. So, of course, yes, there is still a possibility that he could face more charges.
Thanks for this. CTV's Caroline Bargood reporting live tonight. We're learning more tonight about a man suspected of being a serial killer. He's already accused of murdering 3 women. We know Shawn Lamb has been in and out of jail for most of his life, with 99 convictions under his belt. As CTV's Caroline Bargood reports tonight, authorities described Lamb as a lifelong career criminal with a high risk to reoffend.
Shawn Lamb was looking for love online. 1 month ago, this woman who doesn't want to be identified says she met the 52-year-old on a dating website. She says he told her he was a native man in his 30s.
And when I saw his pictures, I noticed that he wasn't who he said he was.
There are few posts, fewer pictures, and very little personal information on his Facebook page. But according to court documents, Lamb has never had a good relationship with a woman. He was briefly married once and blames his drug addiction for his failed love life and struggled to stay on the right side of the law. Lamb was first charged in 1976. Since then, he's racked up 99 convictions. He's done time in federal and provincial jails, from British Columbia to Alberta and Ontario. 2010 was the last time he appeared before a Manitoba court judge for sentencing. At the time, Lamb was considered a high risk to reoffend. He was on probation when police say he killed 3 women. Something Canada's public safety minister didn't want to talk about.
I don't want to comment much further on that particular case. But
a case that is now before the courts. Lamb facing 3 counts of second-degree murder.
I'm just thankful that I didn't meet him. I'm scared thinking about what could have happened if I did.
After seeing his photos and talking to Lamb online, this woman says she decided not to meet him in person, a decision she is now grateful for having made. Caroline Bargood, CTV News, Winnipeg.
According to court documents, Lamb was adopted when he was very young. He says he didn't know he was Aboriginal until a few years ago. In Winnipeg, police have once again sealed off the former apartment of Shawn Lamb. the man charged with 3 counts of murder earlier this week. Officers will only say it's part of an ongoing investigation. Tonight, Edmonton police confirm they're also looking into the suspect. CTV's Caroline Bargout has more.
This is the apartment where Shawn Lamb once lived. From inside the bachelor suite, there's a clear view of the backyard where a badly decomposed body was discovered last week. Officers have been here before. But on Wednesday, Winnipeg police blocked off access to the apartment as investigators returned for another look.
We're dotting our I's, crossing our T's, and making sure all the evidence potentially is gathered.
Neighbors say upwards of 40 officers have been in and out of this apartment building in the past 24 hours. Police are also once again guarding the scene across the back lane where the body was found. According to court documents, Lamb has been convicted nearly 100 times. His crimes range from sexual assault to robbery and fraud. He's done time in 4 provinces over the past 30 years. Because of that, police in Edmonton are now looking to see if the 52-year-old could be connected to any unsolved cases there.
He committed a number of assaults in that period of time, including a sexual assault in and around Slave Lake. And he was convicted of that offense and he served time for it.
Staff Sergeant Gerard McNeil says officers will focus on cases between 1989 and 1997, the years Lamb lived in Alberta. Here in Winnipeg, the investigation into the suspected serial killer continues. Police admit they're working with several different agencies across the country, but won't say specifically which ones. What officers will say is they promise to leave no stone unturned. Caroline Bargout, CTV News, Winnipeg.